Hello and welcome back to another episode of TerraTech with your host Selenva the Silver Dragon. Alright, I left off last time having completed what amounts to my storage facility and barracks, as well as the equipment superchargers center, so I can charge up my batteries to full in a hurry just by sitting here for a few moments. I might even add another 4 chargers on there along with 4 more batteries to replace the ones I took off to put on here. Also, or was it on this one? No, it was on that one because this one doesn't have anything on it that needs batteries. Okay, we got the comms tower there, and we've also got this leftover remnant of my previous work, just my construction pile, as it were. This is pretty much all I've got left for the construction pile, which was immense, honestly, and was originally even 2 separate entities. Like, it was a construction pile and another vehicle at some point, so yeah. We've really managed to wear down this pile to a lot more manageable stack of items. And that's pretty good, I'd say. I'm looking at about 35,000 in my bank right now. I'm not sure that's enough to really complete the project I've set forth here, since I want to build a refinery standing here and connect it to a launch pad, as it were, and maybe have one spare area where it just sends refined resources off to the side as an alternative direction. As one alternative direction. That way I can have it like store resources if I want to, and then move them over to here if I want to use them. I want to have the option to basically refine resources that I've collected and put them into storage temporarily. So I'm probably going to make a refinery station here, connect it to like go around here and there, or right through the trees, and have it connect to a separate launch facility where it just launches the resources off into space, or have it go over here and then connect to a small storage facility that I can then move resources over from there to here if I want to, by just disconnecting the storage and picking it up with my current vehicle, perhaps, whatever I'm using at the time. In fact, I might just make it like a some kind of vehicle that effectively just sits there to pick up the supplies that are stored. I think there is actually a method of doing that. I could just basically make a vehicle whose design uses actual storage blocks, and then it funnels the resources over into like a tractor pad system. Maybe. Actually, thinking about it, it would probably also go backwards, back up the track as well if I try to use the tractor pad system. Never mind, that wouldn't work. But that would have been great if it would travel over to the tractor pad system and go like, oh, we'll just sit here. And then it can offload. Or actually using the tractor pad system would be fine, because it would then go from the tractor pad to whatever storage vehicle we had sitting next to it, assuming said vehicle is standing next to it. So actually that would work. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to basically set up like a little tractor pad area where the refined resources go over to a specific little vehicle designed to sit in there. And then if we want to move the resources over to a different area, then that would work. I'm also going to have like a track system where I basically put in a block to decide which way the resources go. So if I want to save the resources, I'd send it over to the actual vehicle that I want to use it, whereas the rest of the resources will go over to the launch facility otherwise. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Now the problem is, I don't think I have enough conveyors for that, nor do I think I have enough of the yellow blocks for the structure I want to build for that. So I'm going to need more yellow blocks, and I'm probably going to need more conveyors. Now, looking at, let's see here, let's look at the order list here. Conveyor blocks. How much do they cost? I forget exactly. Right. No, that's not them. Where is it? Oh, there. 500 a piece. And I'm thinking I've got like, how many here? 12, 14, about. So that's, I imagine that'd be enough to maybe fill in the structure itself, but not much else. And I'm probably going to need more than just that. So, I mean, just look at this is 4 blocks right there in length. And we're looking at probably like the structure itself, which will probably take, I don't know, anywhere from 20 to 30 conveyor blocks in and of itself, considering it's going to be a big structure. And then there's going to be also the connections that go out behind it. Let's assume it goes out like 4 out behind it and then off to the sides until it gets to here. And let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yellow blocks worth. 5 times 4, and you've got 20. And then there's also another 20 probably going out this way, if not more. So I'm looking at something like somewhere in the ballpark of around 60 to 80 conveyor blocks. 60 to 80 times 500. Let's say, just for a safe assumption, let's go with 80 times by 500. I can't do that in my head. I need a calculator here in 1 sec. Thing I can't see. There it is. Okay, sorry about that. Let's see here. Let's plug it in. I wonder if you managed to do this before I did. But anyway, 40,000. Okay. 40,000. That's 5,000 more than what we got on its own. That's not even counting the yellow blocks for building the structure we're going to want to build. So, I can safely say we're going to need to go resourcing again. I figured as much, but I wanted to make a calculated check, and yeah, we're going to need at least 40,000 probably, just to make sure we're in the ballpark of the amount of conveyor blocks we're going to need. That's not counting the yellow blocks that we need. So, how about the yellow blocks? Just for an example's sake, let's say we're going to want about maybe 20 yellow giant blocks. How much is that going to be costing? Like 3,000 a piece times 20. Yeah, I'll just plug that in here. Times 20. That's about 60,000 more. So we're looking about another 100,000 cash required. So I'm going to go out and do some harvesting again. And perhaps see if I can't run into some of those big yellow guys out there and see if I can't, nick a few parts. That'll shave off a few thousands of points of cash in my favor. But yeah. Well, here we go. Speed time engaged. Okay, you may be wondering what I just built, and that's what I'm going to call the fabrication pad. Basically, I start building my vehicles here. This is where I'm going to start putting my smaller constructs and the parts for building smaller vehicles on here. I realized, you know what, I need a place to put these parts that I want to use for vehicles in the future, and currently the fabrication pad's the best place I can put it. And for now, right now, it's going to basically be an area where I start building vehicles. In the future, it may just end up being a place where I put all the parts that I'm going to use for building vehicles at. It's literally just a warehouse for all intents and purposes. Just a giant area that you visit to pick up resources as you need them. Pretty straightforward. I think I should add 4 more pads, though. Just to smooth it out a little bit. I think it's not quite big enough yet. So a little bit extra will go, I think, just far enough to fix that. Oh, not GSO. I need the Geocorp. 1, 2, 3, 4... Also, I'm thinking I may want to actually mount it kind of like on stilts. I think as it is right now, it's good, but it could be slightly better. So I'm going to go ahead and try and put it on stilts, actually. So let's just finish that up. Alright, there we go. Now the little platform is ready. I'm hoping this works. I don't know how troublesome it will actually be to use this as a storage area for parts in the near future, but, well, you never learn anything without trying, or at least learning from somebody else who did try. So, experimentation. Hang on, I want to slide this up a little bit. There we go. There we go. Do that. That looks good. Just going to take all these off for the moment. Move this up. And then we can put these back up here. One of them ended up underneath, unfortunately. Excuse me, I need this. Okay, put that over there for the moment, and then I can move it here. Okay, so that's all of those. I'm hoping those stay there. I don't know if they will, but I think they will. Because I have seen like floating parts be kept in the game before, so as far as I understand, they should stay. But I've never actually not floating parts, but floating materials. So I'm thinking that as long as they are floating, they should actually stay in the game. I imagine the same thing happens to materials. If they're not being maintained by some block, they have a timeout kind of status, and then they just vanish. It's how I imagine the game handles them normally. I'm going to put these parts there. Just slide that over there. And there we go. Honestly, maybe I should try and, Just considering some things. But I guess for now, that's how we're gonna set it up. And then put the other one there for that part. Just put all the remaining parts just sort of like hanging on here for now. Till further notice. I don't have any plans for these, any significant plans that detail what exactly of these parts I plan to use, though I imagine all of them might eventually be useful for something in the future. Like these red blocks I plan on using for building a new buggy vehicle for traversing the desert. And the radars I plan on using on basically every vehicle I ever build, so radars are always useful to have a collection of. The generators I might use on one of my future buildings in this base. The airplane parts are going to be used for my future giant plane that I'm going to build. Actually, the plane might be too big, so I may have to move that elsewhere, but for now, that's where I'm keeping them. I got a bunch of yellow parts and other stuff here, but all these yellow ones here are all like single lower tier blocks. They're not like the higher tier giant yellow blocks, so I have to consider some things. So yeah, those are all just singular 2x2 yellow blocks instead of like 2x. Well, looks like that guy decided he wanted to pick a fight with my wall, and he's dead. I didn't have to do anything. I just watched while a hail of bullets came down on him. That was fun. That's why I didn't bother worrying about the guys like spinning around over there. Just because those turrets are like ridiculous right now. My defenses are pretty dang solid, and I'm happy with that. Now, what to do about this base? This refinery. Now that I have this structure here complete, the refinery is pretty much all I can think of maybe adding at the moment. Actually, didn't I write something down? I think I did. Let's see here. Unfortunately, it says nothing about what I was gonna consider for this base. It just said like walled base. Of course it does. Only say walled base. Yeah. I know I thought of the stuff I was gonna put in here, but I completely forgot about what I thought of. That's great. Let's see, a recharger, so that recharges the vehicles. I may want to build some kind of like repair center, actually, now that I think about it. Some kind of like, I guess a hangar of some sort that you can just drive into and it will repair you automatically to some sort. Maybe that might work. It's kind of a pain in the butt, though, to make a system like that. Because in some cases, your vehicle will either be too small or too big, or it might come already with some repair fields and not necessarily needed. So it's like, meh. Well, that's something to consider, I suppose. Let's see here. Well, I know I need more yellow blocks, so I'm gonna get to work on this refinery. I'm just gonna go ahead and build that instead of worrying about what else I'm gonna build. Okay, that is very, very, very odd. Game refuses to recognize that I've mined some resources, so I'm gonna reboot. That's a weird bug. Just... there's stuff I'm mining, but it's not giving me any resources out of it. Yeah.